Glad to have you back as still VOP this morning. Nigerian Army top officer and Commander Brigadier General Mumba has been killed by Islamic State West African province Iswap fighter after the terrorists reportedly intercepted and tracked his location along the Damboa View axis in Borno State. Multiple security sources have confirmed. The tragic incident occurred shortly after the brigade commander had participated in a successful joint air-ground offensive against insurgents in the area. According to report, the general had earlier spoken with his superiors, confirming that he was safe following the operation and was regrouping with his team. However, the officer's communication may have inadvertently exposed his coordinates. He was captured alive while the terrorists interrogated him briefly before summarily executing him. Meanwhile, Mohammed Idris, Minister of Information and National Information, says that President Bola Tinubu has ordered the swift rescue of the female student abducted from Government Girls Secondary School in Maga, Kebbi State. Gunmen attacked the school on Monday morning and kidnapped 25 female students during the raid. Nafiu Kotokashi, police spokesperson in Kebbi, said that Hassan Makuku, the school's vice principal, lost his life during the attack, while Ali Shehu, a security guard, sustained gunshot injuries to his right hand. Reacting to the development in a statement, Idris said Tinubu has condemned the attack and reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to protecting all Nigerians, especially school children. Quite unfortunate indeed. We have with us in the studio Prince Francis Chilaka, who is a public and political affairs analyst, and joining us virtually is a National Secretary, retired member of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Ambassador Dr. Omei Roy Okideve. And also will be joined from Oka by Honorable Ejiofor Iguatu, former member of Number State House of Assembly. He is also a political and public affairs analyst. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Prince Francis.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Ejiofor Iguatu.
Good morning.
All right, good to have you join today's conversation. Ambassador Roy, good morning, if you can hear me. Good to have you join today's conversation. Ambassador, if you're there, please. All right, let me start off with the studio. I would like you to unmute your device, if you can hear me. Unmute your microphone, Ambassador Roy, if you can hear me. All right, well, we'll let you walk through that to, establish proper communication with you. We'll bring the conversation to the studio where we'll have Prince Francis Chilaka. Prince Francis, what do you make of this? There was a statement made by the president after 25 girls were kidnapped, from Kebbi State, that the security operatives should move swiftly to make sure that those schoolgirls were rescued. Let's take it back to what happened some years ago, where girls were kidnapped, in school, secondary school for that matter. We have the likes of Leah Shoibu and all the Dapochi girls and the other one that played out. And up until today, we are yet, even last 2 months or thereabouts, parents of those school girls come up to still talk about how some of their girls have not been reunited or granted freedom. Please, what do you make of this incessant kidnapping of girls from schools and the fact that the present administration have told the world that they are already working hard to end the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, especially when Trump talk about coming in to help out?
We're back to the trenches. We can't hide our faces in shame, but that's the truth. Nigeria, for me, is gradually becoming a failed state because all the indices of a failed state is staring us in the face. And unfortunately, we just keep pretending to ourselves, and the government also keep pretending to itself. I think the problem is that our leaders don't understand the fact that the people have given up their sovereignty to them. And when you give up your sovereignty to your leaders, you want them to take care of you. They provide security, provide good health, provide good roads. But this is not happening in this country. And so each time these things happen, like the Chibok, the Dapchi girls, you just hear the president, give you beautiful speech, come asking the military to do this, asking the security to do that. But if you follow the details of what transpired, the police account of what transpired, the army account of what transpired, you'll find out that it sounds very, very childish. Because the police said, oh, we engaged them. And, they were trying to flee, they jumped the fence, or they jumped the walls, and they went away with these girls. And I keep asking, when it happened, when the Chibok girls were kidnapped, there were about 100 or something of them. How were they moved? Were they moved in trains? Were they moved in buses? Were they moved on the back of cows or the back of camels? So how do they move these girls that nobody gets to find them? And where is this bush that they move them into? So it doesn't really add up. It simply shows you that, that there's something fundamentally wrong with our security architecture.
When you say something is fundamentally wrong with our security architecture, let's take it to what happened or what played that took the life of Brigadier General M. Uba. We're told that he was safe, and then he made a phone call to tell his superior that he was good and secured, and next to that thing was he was apprehended, and the rest was history. Let's take back to what Bolaji Akinyemi said when we seek the military aid, talking about the United States of America's aid, joining Nigerian security now to help to rescue the Chibok girls. He told Nigerians, he made it known to Nigerians that the United States of America team accepts to use a certain gas to pass out the military, the militants, and take out the Chibok girls. But to their greatest surprise, when it was time for them to have the raid, they noticed that the terrorists that they were trying to bombard were all wearing masks to prevent them from the gas that they are going to use to take them out. What does this speak on how complicit and how porous our military, space happened to be with the reintegration or readmission of repentant Boko Haram members or terrorist members into the military?
What you have playing out in Nigeria, especially with our security architecture and especially with information gathering and dissemination, is that there are people who are sympathetic to this Boko Haram, bandits, terrorists, call them what you want to call them. There are people who are sympathetic to them. And it is these people who are sympathetic to them that passes information to them. I mean, there's some funny explanation going on social media. Oh, that it's because of the social media that the general was captured and killed. And I laugh. And I said, first and foremost, when the news got broken that the general had got missing, they said no. They said we have a government that has a way of trying to deny everything. And that's why I say each time government begins to deny something, then it means that there's something there that we need to look into.
Someone say something about this general. Some people telling the people or the people that kidnapped him, the Iswap team that took him where he was. Because, for example, we don't have the codes to track, to start with, getting the satellite information on the phone call being made, lay out there in public. It's not there where anybody can actually find it. Now, and we also know that some of these men, the terrorists, most times they make pictures and videos close to mountains and they send the information without them being tracked too. So how possible is it that they were able to, launch a coordinate to crack the position of this brigadier general, or brigadier commander, I beg your pardon, before his pick up? Are you seeing anything more like a snitch telling them where this man is and for him to be
you see, you're trying to go round and round and round the truth. The truth of the matter is that there's serious flaw in the Nigerian security architecture. And I say this, you see these people, these bandits, they come on TikTok. They do giveaway and people collect it and nobody gets to arrest them. But between you and I, and the four of us here, go to TikTok tomorrow and say something that the government finds offensive. In less than 1 hour, you'll be picked up.
Okay, all right. Prince, before we go to the virtual guest, let me stay with you. The issue of insecurity is more than troubling to all of us. And our president has given marching orders, make sure you rescue these girls, more like a soundbite that we hear all the time. Why, do you understand why it's been difficult for the APC government? I say the APC government because it happened under Buhari. We had the United Arab Emirates give us 411 names of terrorists or sponsors. Buhari put that list inside the cupboard and never did anything with it. Malami was the Attorney General there. Now Malami wants to become president of this country.
No, he wants to be governor.
Okay, sorry, he wants to be governor.
Yeah.
He wants to be governor, sorry. He wants to be governor of Kebbi State. I don't have a problem with that. Tinubu is in place. That list, nobody has revisited that list. Do you read any intentionality, or is it complicit?
Mr.
You know,
Okoro,
is the government complicit?
Mr. Okoro,
in
how
all
did APC come to power in the first place? Protest, propaganda, those were the tools. Don't forget, they used the issue of Chibok girls. They used the issue of Dapchi girls that were kidnapped. Your present vice president was the governor of Borno State when it happened in Chibok. When the girls were kidnapped, what did he do? Your current minister of FCT, remember, was the then Minister of State for Education, who claims that he went there and he told them they shouldn't allow the children to go for the exams. But the government said no, where everything is in order. So when you put all this together, you ask yourself, we have also heard, how some people had come to say, oh, we brought these people into this country for them to help us in case the election doesn't go the way we want. Who has been arrested? You have a Sheikh Gumi who's been going about the whole place asking the government to negotiate with bandits, terrorists, Boko Haram. And I ask, what do they want? What is the reason for negotiating with them?
All right. Let's hold our thoughts and let's take this very quick break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
One later. All right, then welcome back. Now let's continue the conversation. But we have joining us here. We have Ambassador Roy Ohidebe, National Secretary, retired members of Nigerian Armed Forces. Good to have you with us in the studio.
Thank you so much.
And we still have Honorable Ejiofor Igwa, so we'll come to you very shortly. Ambassador Roy, let's start off with, the issue of the general that was murdered, allegedly, and also the girls in Maga. But let's start off with the general. I have seen the video and I have questions. I had to slow it down to see the reaction. And to me, I may not be right, but to me, it doesn't look real. And we see the Nigerian Army denying the arrest and execution. What do you make of that? And if you've seen the video, which I think you have, is it real?
Okay. One thing I like telling people is this. When your house is on fire, what do you take out first? Every emergency response, emergency situation advisory, intervention, procedure will always tell you, leave. Leave your phones, leave your bag, leave whatever, don't touch anything, just dash out. Okay, if you are one of the wardens in the building, try to scale out people, windows, doors, ladders, whatever. Now, I also ask people, when you think your level of presence in the security in the country is protected, what happens when your neglect makes such negative incidences begin to point you out as a victim? We have young soldiers that have been kidnapped, killed in open videos, beheaded in open videos. We have 2 military personnel that went to their village to get married. They were kidnapped and they were killed. And there was one lady officer like that. It also happened to her. And everything was just looking at stories. Now, let me tell you, as we speak now, even commissioners, senators, they are being kidnapped. So, when a colonel, at colonel level, who has a red neck, is coming in the barracks, you need to change your direction. Because with that red neck, you have the right to pronounce anybody dead. You have the right to declare open fire as a colonel. I'm not even sure I can come into a place where there is a general. I'm not sure. I'm Special Forces trained. We just formed the elite Special Forces veteran community in Abuja yesterday. And we did an ESCO meeting where they made me the Deputy Secretary General, Parachutists Association. You know, those are elite forces. Where you see a general standing, you don't enter that place. And the perimeter control system around the general, beyond his armed orderly, is massive. When a country begins to see itself being abused in the highest of its estimable places, that is an awakening. If it is not woken up, then it's dead.
Okay. So you believe the video?
The video that came out needs to go through the military processes. The DMI needs to look at it. The military spokespersons need to come out with a statement.
But
so every other things now, we believe that social media can populate.
Now, talking about social media, does it make sense that a general lost track in trying to escape, was disconnected from his team, and was using WhatsApp to communicate? Does it make sense that he was sending videos of his location via WhatsApp, a social media application? What does that say, assuming this is true? Because I have a problem believing this, but assuming this is true, what does that say to reconnaissance?
No, I would like to put it like this, because it will be like we are looking at the flame. We are not looking at the embers that boost the flame. What does that say about the Tucano that there was so much hype about? What does that say about military equipment that we have seen corruption cases popping up about serving personnel and government civilian procurement procedures representatives? How do these things amount to the budget for military and the physical accessibility of those military gadgets, equipment, platforms that military personnel are supposed to deploy when they are in dilemma or they need to create an attack? Now, if a general don't have devices on him that he could geolocate to wherever he is, if a general is moving without him doing video on WhatsApp, can't we permutate from the DMI office or system to know where the general is, especially when he's on active combat? We don't need to be mentioning devices here. I know where my son is right now in Texas. My daughter in New York knows where I am right now as I sit here. So if we don't know where a general is, then he needs to use a public system. Then that also tells you about where the country is in preparation.
Where the country is at this moment, Ambassador Roy, we know the problems. Very troubling.
Yeah.
Very disheartening.
Yeah.
A general is reportedly killed.
Yeah.
General of the Nigerian Army.
Yeah.
By who? People will call ragtag.
Yeah.
Terrorists and all of that.
Yeah.
Ambassador, how do we get out of this logjam? We know the problem. What's the solution?
Well, one of the things that we need to understand is this. The problems were created by us, but we did not know the magnitude that it will get to. That is why you see politicians now porting from, everybody's porting to APC. After this election, if APC does not win, everybody will be porting to wherever there is a win. What is the criteria and the policy to port? Now, every organization in Nigeria already believes in godfatherism. Every organization in Nigeria already believes in favoritism. If the people that are making the budgets ask for budget padding because they need to get something for themselves, if the people that stay in the villa, like the vice president, asking for billions and trillions of money to renovate his office when a school carrying the next generation of the country does not have protective delineation against incursion and abduction, what is the solution you want to have? The first solution is for justice to prevail. Justice against crimes instituted in the Constitution, murder, arson, criminality, corruption. Once justice begins to prevail, then the government to remove its hands from agencies. The police, they should create their own system where they nominate whoever comes to be an IG. The military should have its own system where the CDS or the chief of staff comes out. The politicians should face delivering democratic benefits, education, roads, medical, and all
You
that.
talked about the military. You served in the military. You know, the Nigerian military, I recall, when we used to go for external operation, we would come back with laurels and all of that. In the Nigerian military, what do you think is the problem? Is it problem of lack of equipment, or is it problem of lack of training? Or is it political complicity on the part of the political elites? What will it be for you?
When, let me remember one instance when I was serving in 1 Mechanized Infantry Division, Kaduna. And we had a gunshot somewhere. We were just about 6 of us. And the young officer there was moved. We moved immediately to the location. And we saw that, oh, policemen were handicapped. And there was no phone calls then, so we communicated as we communicate. And we got approval to protect the police, to protect our community, and to withdraw immediately. The police reinforcement came. And that was what we did. When I was in Calabar, when Bakassi issues were coming up in the amphibious training school, we had a ready team to protect our military that were already in the front line as special forces personnel. Now, we don't connect with any civilian institution once there is threat to life and national security. There was no NSA office. NSA office that will bring in to begin to decide what the military and the police does. There was no interpretation of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. There was no, who is that guy there? Is he a Muslim or a Christian? Everything becomes what is a threat to the country, and we wipe it out immediately. We don't have any court. When the Nigerian government, politicians, started to go out to beg for loans and benefits, that was when you started to hear human rights in how we treat criminals. Then murder cases and firing squad began to get interpretations. So the governor that is supposed to sign a firing squad begins to ask, who is that guy? They say, he's a boy to ambassador. Have you called the ambassador? No, sir. Call him now. Ambassador, this boy, I think you should tell the judge to just pend it. I'm in France. I'm trying to buy some houses for my children. So they penned it, and their alert beep, bim, bim, Oga don't send, Oga don't send. And everything is pended. And that is the process. I'm talking as a witness. I'm not telling you hearsay. Now, when we began to weaken the strength of penalties, accountability, then we opened the door for frivolities.
All right, thank you so much, Ambassador Roy, for that. Let's take this conversation to Honorable Ejiofor Igwatu. Good morning once again, Honorable Ejiofor Igwatu, and good to have you. Now, the present administration has spent $801 million worth of, in buying equipment, weapons now for Nigeria for us to be able to curb the issue of insecurity. With the way things are going and the fact that some people have also come up to say that some military personnel is at this point are complicit, and also the reintegration or readministration of repented Boko Haram members or terrorist members now. And sometimes people say that they're being enrolled in the military. Are we going to see all this help out in any way to curb the issue of insecurity? The spending of $801 million, one breath, and in another breath, more like pardoning and also encouraging people who have killed to still be moving freely under the non-kinetic measure of curbing insecurity.
I don't think the issue still remains or is anything about funding. What is the problem in Nigerian military is about tactical formation, it's about information leakage, it's about betrayal, it's about sabotage. There is no way anybody can convince most Nigerians that there is no leakage of information around the military circle. Now, if you accuse me of stealing anything and you invite the police, you get to the police station, one of the things you see is that 2 trucks of mobile policemen will be sent to my house to arrest me, and there is nothing I will do to run away from them, just because you accuse me of stealing 1 or 2 little things or one of very minute cases. Now, bring it up to that level of military. How can a brigade commander at that level be so easily captured and killed? It sends a very bad signal. It is a very shameful occurrence. It's a pity that we're hearing such from this great country, this supposedly great country, Nigeria, spending $800 million to buy arms and ammunition and giving it to people who are not dedicated, giving it to people who are sabotaging the national security to handle, makes no difference. It doesn't make any sense. No, the level of killings, the level of abductions are far becoming constant, even more constant than when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was the president. The number of people that are being kidnapped, 25, 200 and something, 300 and something, schoolgirls. This is a very, very, very pathetic case. Nigeria is turning into a very dangerous.
A pathetic case indeed, very unfortunate. Let's bring it back to the studio. Prince Francis. Now, he did mention the Jonathan era when this happened. 200 girls kidnapped, and now 25. And do you see a pattern in this? Could this be politically motivated to make the government look inactive, look bad, so as to have something, to say, to topple or to, push out this administration?
Yeah, I think that would not be the right word to use, because when the American president said he was going to come to help the Nigerian government, suddenly our politicians became very patriotic. If you noticed, you saw a lot of, I call them dead politicians coming up to do videos and telling you how patriotic they are, telling you how the Americans are coming for your natural resources and all of that. So if they could do that, and then the government was showing that they are in charge, I don't think anybody is doing anything, to paint this government in a bad light. But I just think that the government itself has failed the people. And that's why I said that when you and I gave up our sovereignty to the government, we gave it up believing that they will provide security for us. But they have failed us, and they continue to fail us. And there are questions. We talk about 400 and something names given to the former late president. The new president came in. He has not done anything about it. Nigerians are living in IDP camps in their own country. Nobody's saying, how do we take these people back to their ancestral homes? Nobody's asking who is occupying these ancestral homes. So it's just a failure in governance and government not facing the reality to know that The battle before them is something they cannot handle with all the videos people are making, talking about sovereignty, talking about patriotism.
All right.
The issue of insurgents, these guys, always on TikTok, always doing videos. In fact, I was watching a TikTok video last night where some of these bandits were making videos, and a supposed soldier was commenting under the video, you know, saying that we'll get you and all of that. And it was laughable to me. What do you make of that, you know? And also, I'd like you to react to the 25 girls kidnapped, the kidnap of the 25 girls. What do you make of it? Could this be
okay? For the TikTok,
can we trace them using algorithms?
Your son can trace them.
Exactly.
Your son, your children of today. My child will tell me, Daddy, share your screen, and they will just do some things on my phone and it's sorted out. I'll say, how much will I pay? You get it? These things are an insult. Go to schools in Nigeria here. Look, I like talking about our university students. You can have young boys and girls that will become strategically deployed to monitor these things. But you take your own TikTok now and talk about a senator and go and hide. You hear the other guest that is virtual. He said 10 trucks of mobile policemen will storm that place. Go and hide in another village, anywhere, inside a canoe, and be there and be doing your TikTok. Another canoe will park by your side, and you hear we are from the DSS. You are under arrest. You know? So we begin to see a country like this Oga said now, that have removed priority from citizenry deliverance of democracy and place priority on individuals and cliques and cartels within the country. If you talk about the 25 girls, I asked someone the other day, I said, if those girls were one of your daughter, one of them is your daughter, tell me your state of mind right now for your daughter to be in the hands of drug addicts, wanton destruction mindset, set of people. Now, remove that and tell me, amongst the women in Nigeria today that are elites and highly educated, what kind of intervention have they come together to look at? Now, remove that. Come down again to the security system and ask me, I believe I can. We have done it before. Even those days when we were doing Operation Sweep and all those things when I was in Dodan Barracks, we can keep a bait, park a car somewhere and put double trafficator. Before 10 seconds, around 4 a.m., you will see over 20 people in hoodlums around that car, looking at it like this. You get it? You can put a bait. All the schools in our outskirts, sir, in all of those exposed regions, sir, they are living baits. Why not create intervention system, deterrence system, and meet them at the point of entrance, far away from the school? Because immediately they gather and begin to move in that total space, they come together, they are not scattered. And intervene there, and
yes,
you get it. And that helps you to give deterrence to other places. It shows your presence. It shows your capability. Even if we are 6 of us and they are 100, and you don't give us that threat of mind the way you do, mind the way you do, mind the way you shoot, mind the... If you tell us that this is a threat to national security asset, every educated child is a national security asset. All these politicians that you see, the wristwatches they buy from Spain, China, and all those Dubai, they have a closet in their house that is biometric controlled. Wristwatch.
Okay. Ambassador, it's good that you are here. You play around the intelligence community, and graciously you live in the United States. And I want us to see, what can we learn from the United States with your experience there and your experience back home? Especially, we have a situation where, in many cases, in most occasions, before these attacks come, the intelligence community is informed. Communities say, look, we have information that hoodlums, terrorists, gunmen are going to attack us. And the same military says, oh, don't worry, everything is in control. 2-3 days, one day, hours later, that same community is attacked. What can we learn from where you live? What's the difference?
Let me start with your first question. There is no country in the world that does not have criminality.
Beautiful.
There is no country in the world that a criminal cannot see vulnerability.
Okay.
But do you have the audacity to exercise your criminal tendencies? If I leave my car and it's exposed to theft, do you have that audacity to take it and not be sure that you go to jail? Because intervention and opportunity to get to identify perpetrator. Do we have your data, your registration lines, your ability to use phones? So many of them use phones to even collect ransom. Do we have the correlation of your geofencing? Where are you at this point? When you leave point A to point B, is there any flag if you have been flagged? Do we have communities that they take your identity so serious that before you buy some items, when I got my gun clearance, before I could get a Glock to buy, I had to go through some processes, and even while using it, there are rules of engagement. And you are sure that you violate those rules, you are going to answer for it. There is no judicial system where even the president has wanted to do many things. You remember the old time the U.S. wanted, Donald Trump wanted to build the wall to block up. The judiciary will be asking questions, not another political party, not innocent citizens like you that are supposed to be enjoying your sleep this morning to be asking questions. But here we have the judiciary itself starting in the dilemma of discord from even the NBA elections. So chairs are being thrown at each other. So we need a society that is answerable to certain tenets that keeps you geofenced, geolocated, and the integrity of your daily activities, you are answerable to them.
Your team, special forces, elite forces, right? The one you just
yeah, that's PAM, Paratroopers Association of Nigeria.
Sorry again, please.
Paratroopers. Those guys that use paratroops to come from the plane with their weapons and intervene.
That's what we need.
So we have airborne
paratroopers. Are you offering your services to land in Sambisa and
No, it's not a question of if we offer our services. It's the military system. If it is a waterway area, Navy guys pumping there. I'm an amphibious personnel. Some military personnel to go and get the crocodile badge. Water to land attack is swift.
Okay, but your team, are you offering your services to?
We don't need to offer our service, sir. We have serving personnel that are paratroopers. It is a green light means go. There is no other question again. Everybody become a falling stone. And if you don't see an officer that is standing there hoping to be a chief of army staff, hoping that one President Tinubu will come tomorrow and say, you have served, go and rest, you have $20,000 every year.
Or 60,000.
You have a medical travel every year.
Bulletproof.
Not following the army military discharge tenets. Meanwhile, other officers like you are forming groups to protest on the street that they don't have medical cover. You are giving benefits. So, as a young officer coming up, I want to get there. I want to grab those benefits. I want to be an ambassador. After serving and people, soldiers and citizens have died in thousands without any accountability on my part. And after I become an ambassador, they said they found out there are dollars and money in one building in Ikoyi. Then I run down, I'm trying to intervene in it. And other generals are seeing. And you think when the politicians call, they won't say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
No, let's get your opinion on the fact that, Donald Trump saying something about possible bombardment of Nigeria. What do you make of that? Because today, one of the national dailies, Sage Okori and others are asking that Nigerian government should seek external help to help curb the issue of insecurity. What was your take on the statement made by Donald Trump, and what do you think that will be for Nigeria if such is to happen?
Do we agree that the world is a global village? Yes, we do. Why? Because you can be in your house today and you want to sell anything, you can sell to somebody in China. Somebody in China can sell to somebody in Nigeria, just at the press of a button. Transaction is made, goods are sent, monies are sent. So the world is a global village. So we live in an estate. So in that estate where we live, your children are playing loud music, smoking in their home, and breaking bottles and fighting in the compound. And it's disturbing my peace. And it's allowing other hoodlums to come and gather in your place. Because as a father, you cannot call them to order. Will I not come and knock at your door and say, hey, what's going on here? Who are these guys smoking in their home? If you don't take time now, we'll run down this house. So, because we go there beggarly, because they know how much our people move out of the country against what they put in to deliver governance, is because we have sold our pride as the giant of Africa. Why is America talking to us? Why are they not talking to AU? Shouldn't they be talking to ECOWAS? Let's bring it down to say, take care of those African countries or else we'll come to them. All the institutions that we have put in place to stand in the gap, to represent the integrity of our country. Who is our ambassador in the US?
Well,
do you know him? Have you heard him speak?
Well, the president will appoint some in the days to come. Let's hear from Honorable Ejiofor again. Honorable, what would you like to see happen, as the president has said, look, there should be swift action to release these girls? What do you see happening in the coming days? Let's get that with your concluding thoughts on this one.
Well, I think the president making that statement of a swift action is just they're trying to paint the thing in such a manner that Nigerians will feel that there is something about to happen that will be different. But I don't think so. One of the things I think the president should do is to overhaul the entire military formation and find a better tactical formation that will keep our citizens prevented from such harms. This swift action, for how long do we continue with that kind of situation? Kidnap, abduction, swift action announced, presidency condemns the attack, victims and people are suffering, people are dying, people are devastated. The country is in a bad state. So I think the president should do more than that. He's the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, the Commander-in-Chief. He should take up action in making sure that there is a permanent solution. Something more concrete is done to prevent these attacks. Is this not the same military, the Nigerian military, that went to ECOMOG and all them international missions that became successful and became great? News of their exploits were everywhere. Is this not the same military? What is happening? You heard the former military man talking about tribe, religion, and all the rest of them in the military. Something should be done to address these things so that whatever swift action the president gives instruction for will be carried out. When the president makes these announcements, the problem will be, how is it being carried out? Who is on ground to make sure that these things the president's order is being carried out without any other sentiments attached to it? It is important that security is taken to the high level that it should be at this moment. It's a very gruesome incident.
Do you believe in the principle of responsibility to protect? Should we encourage America to make use of that responsibility to protect by coming in? Because Nigeria we've done it in Nigeria before.
Well, if your house is on fire, and you have just you and one or two people to rescue 20, 50 people in the house to get all the property out of the fire, you need help. It depends on how you want to get help. But
All
if you decide to choose what kind of help you get, you might end up having the house completely burnt down. So it is your choice to make. What kind of help would you accept? When people run in with a clear mind to get you out of that bad situation, and you think they want to steal your TV, they want to steal your chair,
And they
want
might
to
steal your
your
TV in the process. There's
the
the
house will burn
possibility.
down.
But you weigh your
Burn
options,
down.
which is
You
better.
lose the TV. Is it not better they
The
come in
house
and
still
steal
standing or your TV gone.
You begin to arrest them. You begin to beg them instead
Thank you
of
very
allowing
much.
the house to get burned.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ejiofor Igwatu. Prince Francis Chilaka, let's conclude on this one. Your concluding thoughts on this?
Well, my concluding thought is that I'm scared. It's like I'm scared for the country, just like any other person. I grew up in a country where I could take a train from Lagos to Niger State, take a bus to Sokoto. I was moving around freely. Nobody even asked me then if I was an Igbo or Yoruba or anything. But today you can't do that. You cannot do that. So it simply shows failure in governance. And until these political leaders begin to realize that they need, as a matter of fact, that they need to take politics out and face true governance, we will continue to be where we are today. People will say, oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, I don't even see a tunnel, talk less of a light.
All right, then. Well, I don't know if I should ask you for your concluding thoughts as well, because I don't know, or consider your last statement your concluding thoughts on this one.
Okay, sorry, Ambassador.
Okay.
As you conclude, I would like for you to add, does Nigeria constitute priority to America's national security interest for them to want to intervene in Nigeria? Are we priority to them?
This angle let me respond to this angle about America and Nigeria. If somebody tells me that, in fact, just denigrates my personality, okay? The first thing I look at is why that person can or could denigrate my personality. And I begin to work on it, okay? Those days, they used to say old soldiers, once you retire. And I vowed that when I leave this military, because I saw things that made me to say I want to leave, I said I will not be an old soldier. So if the United States of America said they want to come into Nigeria, why? And the question also you will ask yourself is, after the United Nations, this presidency comes into Nigeria, if they come or they don't come, do you have does it in your front burner to address all of these things? Have you guys sat together to say, can this end in our tenure? Like he said, Victory Primary School in Benin City, once my dad dropped us with his MNO 2000 Peugeot station wagon, we all want to trek back home. We gather together, we visit each other's house, take a drink, and we are going again till you get to your own house. No fears, no worries, no concern. So if America, China, or whatever wants to come into Nigeria, what they say, is it true? And are we ready to address